What's going on, everybody? Brandon.
Hold on one second.
All right. While you're trying everything, Brandon Scoopy Robinson, senior writer at Heavy.com, here on Heavy on Live with Scoop B. We are broadcasting on every platform on Facebook, Heavy on Lakers, Heavy on Celtics, Heavy on Bulls, as well as on Periscope via my Twitter at Scoop B, as well as on YouTube. Welcome everybody who is in the building. And it's always a special treat when you got Orange, New Jersey's finest in the building. You have played for every team imaginable, and I'm not going to name every team because you're just that dude. But we got Al Harrington on the line, Heavy Live with Scoopy. Al, what's going on?
Scoop, what's good, my G?
Trying to make it happen. You look rested, but I know that is not an indication of how well you pulled off the celebration for G Herbo last night. So first and foremost, good morning in LA.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, brother.
How was the event yesterday?
So obviously, I wasn't there, but I was able to get representation from the fight. So my man Najee said it was amazing. Unbelievable job. They had a spot over in Island City. Big shout out to G Herbo, man. Like, obviously I've known him for a while. He put me on a lot of neighborhood. A guy like him making it to 25 years from where he from, where like they go to make like 16 years old. And the way stuff like that, star on the rise. So I was just happy that he allowed us to be a part of his birthday. I hope he have 25 times 2 times 3 years left.
No, that's real. And for those who are tardy to the party, you see it in his hat. You saw J.R. Smith of the Los Angeles Lakers wearing a T-shirt in the bubble. Viola. It was founded in 2011 by Al Harrington. Viola Extracts is literally the ability for people to have licensed wholesalers of premium quality cannabis products. The brand is named after and inspired by Al's grandmother, who suffers from glaucoma and diabetes. So basically, you retire from the NBA, you create Viola Extracts. And when I first heard this, I was thinking about scenes from Friday. Like every scene from Friday Imaginable, I was thinking about. When you first told your friends and your NBA colleagues that this is what you were going to do, what was the reception?
The first thing they was like, you? They was like, nigga that talk bad about everybody that smoke weed all the time? Like, smoke? They like, how? You? So everybody ain't believe it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that even when I first started, and I would bring weed, they thought my weed was trash because they like, this thing ain't doesn't smoke no weed. How you know what weed? So I had to prove to a lot of the homies that I actually knew what good weed was and what it smoked like and how it's supposed to make you feel. But obviously, once guys really got a understanding of like that I was serious about it. A lot of my homeboys wanted to invest.
Okay.
Bro, to be honest, since I didn't really know what I was doing, I didn't let none of them invest. I actually just took the risk with all my own money. You know what I'm saying? Just because I value friendships. You know what I'm saying? Money could burn a lot of bridges. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to do that amongst my homies, by losing their bread and now they look type of way. So I took the chance with my own money to start. I put up about $2 million of my own money and I figured it out, and I had some losses within that money too. But by the time I got to, 2 years down the road, I felt like I knew exactly what I was doing. And then that's when I started to open myself up to investors.
Yeah, they say usually starting your own business, the first 5 years is the most critical. You
Right.
played the NBA, so you had the capital. I feel like that was Poppy up the hill money that you was able to invest and do what you needed to do. I'm curious from your perspective. Like, okay, I'm not weed educated, but I know enough to get by. So when you are, I guess, creating an industry, like people know the terms like sour diesel, purple haze, and stuff like that. And I'm sure there are more scientific terms. I hated biology and chemistry, but like, how much education did you have to get outside of what you just know?
Bro, a lot.
Al Harrington. Al, can you hear us? You blacked out for a second.
Yeah. You know, to be honest, you know, my financial advisor told me I was gonna go to jail. My mom was totally against the same thing. She like, you gonna risk everything you created, your reputation and everything to like to sell weed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it was tough like to find support in the beginning. You know what I
Right.
mean? You know, I got all, to be honest, I got all my game from, you know, just homies that I knew from the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? In regards to what it took to, you know, create a good product of cannabis, right? And
Okay.
what they were all consistent. Every single person told me, if you have good weed, if you have quality product, it'll sell itself. You ain't gotta market it. You ain't gotta do nothing. To spread word of mouth. And you know, for me, like that has been like the foundation of like my company, right? Is in regards to like I just try to make super high quality products. You know, obviously with my grandmother's name on it, her legacy, you know what I'm saying? I kind of, you know, what I tell my company is like, you know, we won't put nothing on shelves that we wouldn't give to Grandma Viola. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I know how much I love my grandmother. And you know, I would only put the best and only allow her to use the best products that I could have.
So, okay, so this is my next question. So your grandmother is still living, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, just one check. So, my grandmother, she passed away in the spring. She had old age, but at the same time had been dealing with a lot of health issues. And I used to joke with her, like when she was like, "Man, I'm paying all this money for medicine." I was like, "Yo, you want me to go across the street? It gets you $20, right? That's your copay." She's like, "Man, get out my face." So, like for your grandmother to get her to roll up and partake, is it like kind of like weird, funny, but also like at the same time they say no to drugs, but then you realize healing? Like, what was it like the first time?
Bro, man, for real, like I think it was God at work, man. Seriously. Grew up in church, man, and my grandmother, you know, my grandfather died when she was young, like 30 something, early 30s. And, you know, for the most part, like, not for the most part, she never dated again. Like, she married the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So I was
Right,
background, like, you know, she cooked the communion bread, she collected all the collection money, you know,
right.
I need a place to stay, like you stay at her house. So like my grandmother was one of the most religious people ever. And when I first told her about it, of course, she called it reefer. She's like, "Boy, get out of my face!" Like, boy, get out! I ain't smoking no reefer. And next day, just so happened to be in pain. And I
Right.
look, you here, this is a legal state. You know, doctor recommended. Why don't you try it? And I didn't know. Like, man, I'm just giving her some information I've just read over time, just in, you know what I mean. And you know, like, you know, I'm in so much pain today, I'll try anything. So go to the dispensary, bring her back Vietnam Kush strain. We vaporized it for her, had her smoke it. And I went and checked on her an hour and a half later, and she was downstairs crying, reading her Bible. And said it was the first time Bible in over 3 years, bro. So when you see,
Wow.
like, you know, obviously it changed the way I looked at cannabis forever. But you know, like you said, for her, you know, for her to be open minded, she was born in 1931. You know,
Mhm,
got outlawed and banned and all that in the 30s, right?
mhm.
Grew up with the whole time thinking that cannabis was worse than crack cocaine and all these things. And for someone as religious as her to be open to giving it a try, that was
Yeah.
power, bro. That wasn't me. I'm not that convinced. If I was that convinced, my company worth multiple billion dollars. If I was that good, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I feel like that was God working and, you know, opening my eyes up to an opportunity and another way for her to, you know, medicate herself, you know, in a better way, in better quality of life.
So Biggie Small said, "Never get high off your own supply." You broke that 10 crack commandment.
That was crack, bro. That's the difference.
That's true. That is true. When you played in the NBA, you said that you grew up in a religious family, and like, was it after playing in the NBA that you tried it more? I mean, everybody's tried it, but I'm saying, was it more religious after you played, or was it like sporadic when you played?
No. The first time I ever tried it was we were in Phoenix, Arizona. I was with Golden State, so I think it was 2009. Maybe.
Okay.
You know, we were sitting watching the Clippers play against the Nuggets.
Hmm.
Clippers to beat the Nuggets that night, so we won against Phoenix the next day. That we got the 8th instead of the Nuggets.
Okay.
Sitting there, we're watching the game at the bar, and obviously the Clippers do what they do when they lose. lost the game, so now we know our season is officially over.
Uh-huh.
I got frustrated because the year before that we had the We Believe. It got hot towards the end of that year. We just thinking like we right there, we ready to go. And everybody's frustrated. So, you know, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes and Beatty, you know, they smoke. So start smoking. So I'm having my little drink. And they like, oh man, F that tonight. You smoking with us, bro. You smoking something, though. You smoking. So that was the first time I smoked. And I don't know what they gave me, but that shit had me so high. Paranoid. I'm never smoking again, literally.
Right.
And I didn't smoke again for a couple years until, you know, I had a botched knee surgery. And after my grandmother, whatever, is when I started smoking every day. So it was more like towards the end of my career. I would say like 2012 is when I probably started to, you know, smoke a little bit more consistently. And now obviously it's part of my daily regimen.
It keeps you calm. It's the epitome of going across the street for that $20 copay. Does it ease your mind? Like, do you wake and bake? What is your day-to-day consist of?
Yeah, man. So it's funny for me, man. I just feel like cannabis, whatever I'm going through, I use cannabis, right? If I'm stressed, I smoke. If I'm happy, I smoke. If you know, I had heart surgery, you know, 18 months ago, right? And when I got out, you know, it was in and out, like I could leave that day. And as soon as I got in the car, me and my dad lit up instead of me taking pain medicine. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, cannabis is just part of my everyday regimen. You know, I have, you know, 2 of my kids have like ADD or whatever, and you know, I make special blends of, you know, CBD products for them. You know what I'm saying? I'm just totally against pharmaceutical drugs at this point in my life. You know what I'm saying? So obviously I'm heavy on it on the medicinal side. I still have all kind of aches and pains. I had 14 surgeries in my career. You know what I'm saying? I deal with it for aches and pains. I deal for when I'm stressed. So I just feel like cannabis is the thing that I use just for my overall wellness, whether it's mental or physical.
Al, are you in your office? It looked like you sitting Indian style in summer camp.
No. My man cave at the house, and
Okay.
I stretch it as I'm talking to you.
Got you. No. I listen. In these day and times, yo, people are doing some of everything. There's cleaning people upstairs, vacuuming while I'm downstairs. Like, you get to see people's kids in the video. It's crazy.
Right. Them Zooms is hilarious. I don't know if you saw on Instagram the other day, but it was this lady, kid was on there, and the lady was screaming at the little boy, like, for him to pay attention. And then, like, his mom walks into the video butt naked.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like 20 times, bro. I could not stop laughing.
Man, this is the world we live in right now. Would you say
privacy? No privacy no more, bro. None.
No.
Zero.
No. Zip zero, stingy with the Nero. Tell me something. We're gonna get back to Viola in a minute, but I got some NBA questions.
Yeah, let's shoot.
All right. So Bertie told me that when the Warriors played the Mavericks and during the We Believe era, and you guys beat the Mavericks in the first round,
yep,
at Oracle Arena, Dirk Nowitzki threw a chair in the locker room, and there was a hole in the ceiling until this day.
I think that's true. I've heard that.
You ain't go to the visitors' locker room?
Yeah, but the visitors' locker room, Oracle all the locker rooms was trash anyway, right? So it was an older arena, so they had like the popcorn ceiling kind of things there. You know what I'm saying? So you can throw a pencil up and it'll stick. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that. I know he was definitely upset. I mean, he won the MVP that year. You know what I'm saying? They thought they was going to win the championship, best record in the entire NBA, and to, you know, lose to the lowly, you know, outcast Warriors was definitely something to be very pissed off about, I'm sure.
You know, you talk about the locker room in Oracle being trash. I can think of a locker room that was more trash than that.
Where?
So I remember you when you came into the league in 97, correct?
98.
98. So that was my 97, 98 NBA season was my first year doing radio with the Nets when they were in New Jersey. I think you know where I'm going with this. So when you were 18, I saw you in the locker room with Travis Best, Reggie Miller, Jalen Rose. Do you remember the Continental Airlines Arena locker room and that squeaky ass door?
That might have been, you're right. That might be the worst. Gotta think. Not only was it trash, it was small.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you, like when I first came in the league, the Pacers, like our home locker room was like bad. Like it reminded me of my high school locker room. I'm like, yo, I walked in there the first time. I'm in the NBA, baby. I'm like, I was like, oh my God, like did I not just level up? Like
yeah.
But the Pacers had a bad home locker room. Like it was bad because it was like underneath stairs, so it was like all different kind of angles. So like a guy like Rick Smits at 7'4" is like ducking all around trying to get around the locker room. He had a pretty bad home locker room too.
Your rookie year, you played with Jonathan Bender, Jalen Rose, Dale Davis, and Antonio Davis.
Right.
And Dale was your OG.
Yep.
And Mark Jackson.
Yep.
You guys played against the Bulls. What was that experience against Michael like?
So I missed Michael.
Okay.
In the year after Michael.
Okay.
Next time I played Michael was when he was with.
Was that weird for you?
I mean, obviously I had maybe seen him maybe 2 times, you know, when like off the court. And of course you in awe. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a guy, like a guy, basketball guy, you know what I mean? But to play against him was really like, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, you know, I looked at him up and down 100 times, just checking out the way his shoes was laced, the way his socks was, the way his knee brace was positioned, like in awe, bro. Like that's Jordan. Like I'm really about to play against Michael Jordan. And my first game against him, I actually played pretty well. I got some shoes right here in my office in my man cave that he signed for me after the game because he had 41 that game as a 40-year-old, and I had like 37 or whatever. And after the game, he sent me his shoes and was like, best wishes, keep working hard.
So were those the Jordans that came in the briefcase?
Yeah, with the little flap on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, those. Yep.
Does Michael talk smack when he plays, or is he quiet?
He talks a lot of trash, and it's quiet. And, you know, you can't talk back, right? Just because it's always been like legend. Like if you wake him up, bad. You know what I'm saying? So, depending on who you are, like a Gary Payton and all them would talk trash back. You know what I'm saying? But like a guy like Al Harrington at that time, I ain't saying nothing. He got it.
So Rashad McLeod told me some years ago that when Michael was playing against Jerry Stackhouse in the late 90s, that Michael literally sang Anita Baker's Giving You the Best That I Got while he torched him for 40 plus points against Jerry Stackhouse.
Ooh.
What is something that Michael said to you that got you going? And you talked about the 37-point game. What was the conversation like?
Nah, he had to say nothing to me, man. Like I had that nervous energy. I'm playing.
Gotcha.
And you know what I'm saying? So like he had to say nothing. I was just trying to, the biggest thing is off top, you trying not to get embarrassed, right? Mm-hmm. In the course of that, you actually get it going offensively. You know what I'm saying? So now you're like, okay, you know what I'm saying? And you getting, cooking and he cooking and blah 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 blah. But he never talked trash to me. Maybe off the court a little bit. You know what I'm saying about
sure.
Like hanging out. But I never.
A birdie told me that when you went to St. Pat's, you, Samuel Dallenberg, were teammates.
Yep.
And that while you were there, Samuel Dallenberg, who his English was a little spotty, right. You taught him how to speak English by playing Notorious B.I.G. music. Fact or fiction?
Fact. So most foreigners, even like in the NBA, I realize that's a good way to actually teach them English through music. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna take it a step further past. But yes, we gave him a bunch of songs.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a teammate named Primoz Brezic.
I remember him. Yeah.
Primoz is on our team, and me and Jamal Tinsley was like tasked to right. So of course we get the same thing. We give them CDs like, here, you listen to this, right? So we had fan day in Conseco Fieldhouse. Fan appreciation, so it's mostly kids, right? Kids and their parents because it's free. So it's
right.
And then after the scrimmage, we always make the rookies is like a talent show. So they got to do something, sing a song, do a trick, whatever. So he wanted to sing a song. So he takes the mic, and guess what he sings?
What?
I know I can sing. I can curse later, right?
Yeah.
These kids. What these bitches want from a nigga?
Somebody let me know. For those who are not familiar, that was Cisco and DMX.
And Jamal Tinsley sprinted to him to grab the mic. He had no clue. Oh my God. Man, it was the funniest. That's one of my funniest rookie moments ever. I could not believe that's what he's saying, man. But yeah, so yes, I always felt like you could teach people English through music for sure.
St. Pat's is now the Patrick School in Hillside, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving and yourself, quiet as it's kept, helped bring the school back. Why was that so important to you?
I mean, it's just that's where we come from. It's always forward and try to let about it. How can you let that die? So, obviously, Kyrie was more active. Obviously, stuff like that. So definitely hats off to his. He really stated himself. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. You know what I'm saying? So,
So I read your lips. However, your sound is a little spotty.
Okay.
I feel like this is the technological version of a Justin Yantana with the foil on it.
Right. Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you. You were saying that Kyrie deserves a lot more credit because he's more active.
Yes, I say Kyrie is the one that saved the Patrick School. You know what I'm saying? I say I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. You know what I'm saying? I make my small contributions to help, but he's the one. You know what I'm saying? So hats off to Kyrie. And to what you asked me, why was it important? And it's important because of the tradition that the school has. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how many high schools can say they have 20 plus professional players? You know what I'm saying? Across all leagues, but then you got 4, 5, 6 that went into the NBA. So I just think that we have a lot of tradition and heritage at that school that it should be around. You know what I'm saying? I think it's gaining a lot of support, especially because of Kyrie, being so active.
You and I bumped into each other at the Kyrie Invitational, and I was glad at the Barclays Center. I was glad to see it do as well as it did. It was literally a New Jersey event in Brooklyn, and I feel like Kyrie, year one, filling it out. Year two, are you excited to see him in Brooklyn?
Yes, sir. A healthy Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. And I think that, obviously free agency and all this thing is weird just because of the timing of the year or whatever. Normally teams are set by now. But I think they need one more piece. I think if they get one more piece, even though I think the LeVert kid can fill some holes there and Dinwiddie and, they got a nice little cast of characters. But if they could get one more star, I think that, the East and West, the championship next year will be way more entertaining than the one we got in front of us right now.
Did he say what I think he said? Did you say championship?
I said they got a chance.
What piece is missing?
Bradley Beal.
We starting that again? you really think that's what's missing?
Bradley Beal. They can find a way to get Bradley Beal. They out of there.
Okay, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving would be essentially a real big three.
That'd be a real big three.
Do you not see Karis LeVert as a big three with KD and Kyrie?
No, that's what I said. He's nice, and maybe he can get it done. But
okay.
I for sure wanted to get it, just make sure it happened. I'm packaging up Chris, LeVert, or whoever else they want to get Bradley Beal. You know what I'm saying? I think Brad is will be a big piece for them. Only thing outside of that is if they maybe could get a really big, you know what I'm saying? That because obviously having Kyrie, Brad, and KD, those are all perimeter guys, but the game is played from the perimeter in now, not inside out anyway. You know what I'm saying? But but I like the kid with the afro.
Jared Allen.
Yeah, they could get like one of the Lopez brothers, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But they right there though. You know what I'm saying? Even with what they got right now, they right there.
Did you grow up wanting to play for the Nets?
No.
What were your earliest recollections of the Nets?
I mean, I just think of like Petrovic, not Petrovic. Did I say his name right?
Yeah, Drazen Petrovic.
I think of Petrovic. I think of Kenny Anderson. I think of Sherman Douglas. Obviously Jason Williams, you know, right at the end, and then obviously I came to the league right after that. But yeah, it wasn't not a lot to think about or like support really at the time. You know what I'm saying? My mom was a Knicks fan, so it was always Knicks games on in the house. So I was always Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, Charles Smith. You know what I'm saying? All those guys.
And you were smiling at the press conference when you found your way to the New York Knicks. You look like you got married. Like, that's the smile you had. Like, the fact that you were local, you were home. How cool was that when you got to play for the Knicks?
That was amazing, man. I mean, you know, the Garden is always an arena that it's just something special about playing in the Garden, you know? And, like, for me, like, when I really think about, like, of any place that I played, that was the only place that before every game I had butterflies in my stomach. One of my biggest fears in New York was always I never wanted to get booed. Like I always just felt like that would really crush me. Like, cause you know, they will boo you in a heartbeat there. You know, I remember guys like Jared Jeffries, like he started for us. And when they called his name in the starting lineup, they will boo. Like that's just crazy to like how do you even mentally get ready to play in a game when your home fans are booing you? You know what I'm saying? So I always say like that nervous energy is what resulted in me, like, you know, not ever really having a bad game in the Garden. Like I never had a bad game in the Garden. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was always because of like that nervousness of not wanting to get booed in my home arena.
I tell you what, brother, when I was in college in 2006, I was taking everybody's money that summer in 2K because I had you and like 3-point guards starting at 1, 2, 3, had you at the 4, and I forgot who I had at the 5, but I was getting money. I was taking people's lunch money.
Right.
When you look at what is in today's NBA basketball, I look at two people, you and you know Tim Thomas is my OG.
Yep.
I look at you and Tim Thomas, and I feel as though y'all would flourish in today's NBA. Do you ever look at it today and say, damn, I wish I could play now because this fits me better than even the time in which I played?
Oh, of course, man. Like guys like Tim. So Tim, my neighbor too, right here in LA, right here in Calabasas. But I'm out of my game after him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he was the guy I looked up to in New Jersey. So he goes into the league. I come into the league maybe a year or two after him, maybe a year after him. Dirk enters the league at the same time. And Jameson enters the league at the same time. Paul Pierce entered the league at the same time. So we all was like those 6'8" to 6'11" tweeners, as they call us at the time. So we didn't really have a position. It was almost a negative thing at that time. But we made it work when we transitioned the game because now we got these guys that are like I said, 6'9" to 6'11" shooting threes and taking guys off the perimeter. So yes, to answer your question, like, I mean, not only was our game more suited, when you think about just the contracts, man, like, I mean, we all every guy I just mentioned probably left $200-300 million on the table in today's game. You know what I'm saying? The amount of money that they pay for players with our skill sets.
You played for Mike D'Antoni in New York. At the same time, you played for the Pacers.
Right.
Do you think he's a fit in Indiana?
He got the job?
Huh?
He got the job?
No, but he's a candidate. He's a coaching candidate.
You know what? Big shout out to Chauncey Billups. I know Chauncey's interviewing for that job, so no, I'm gonna say Chauncey's a better fit.
Okay.
Big brother. But I could see it working for him out there because the kid Malcolm Brogdon or whatever his name is the prototypical point guard that he likes. You know what I'm saying? So with him, and they got the big kid Turner that can shoot. You know, they just got to surround him around shooting and just open up the court. But, you know, he's the type of guy, like, he's going to always come in and make your offense look amazing. But what he lacks is just he can't get no defense, and they can't win no real big games. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he got pretty close with Phoenix at that, you know, back in the day. And obviously, you know, that brawl in San Antonio probably cost him a potential championship. But other than that, man, I've just never seen it work and really winning the whole thing. So, but if you just want entertainment, you want to put people in the stands to see open basketball and shooting threes and all that, he could fit anywhere.
Would you like to see Mark Jackson as a coaching candidate in Indiana?
Yes, like like obviously he's been blackballed. There's just no way around it. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not sure who it was, but somewhere in that, you know, in that organization, and I think Jerry West was there, and I'm sure he has a lot of clout, you know, within sports, period. And, you know, I'm not saying it's him, but somebody blackballed him because it just doesn't make sense because he actually was a good coach. You know, there's coaches that have gotten situations and, you know, coached for 3 seasons and won, you know, 35 games, 40 games, and they still resurface either as an assistant coach, as another head coach. But like for him not to ever get any coaching jobs and all that, he's been blackballed.
It seems like some executive, we don't know who, needs some Viola to calm down.
Something, man. But just, I mean, like at the end of the day, man, like Mark's an unbelievable basketball mind. And, you know, he sacrificed a lot playing in the NBA, helping grow the league. You know, he was a great guy in the league, never got in any trouble. Like, you know, and that's what we're talking about. Like, you know, we talk about, you know, Black Lives Matter, this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it makes no sense. Like, how do you not take care of your own as a league? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm hoping one day somebody get him a shot. Because, like, even with the Knicks, how can Mark Jackson not get an interview for the New York Knicks? Like, how do you just give that to Tom Thibodeau? Like, I get it, but Tom Thibodeau's another one. And I don't mind talking trash about coaching because I'm going to own the team. I'm not coaching nobody. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like, what the fuck has he done to deserve a coaching job like that? Like, what has he done? What has he done? Nothing.
Well, I'll tell you, I hear you. I take that and I raise you. I knew that Wes, Tibbs, and Leon Rose were a package deal, and that was being discussed in January. I have heard that Dolan was more sold on Jason Kidd, but that Wes and Jason Kidd's agent did not get along, and so that wasn't going to fly. But that Dolan wanted a name, and that Dolan wanted Kidd, but LeBron ain't want him to leave LA.
Right. Well, I'll take it even a step further. Like Jason Kidd, another one. J Kidd, my homie too, big time. You know, whatever. Obviously, All-Star, Hall of Fame, the whole thing. But his coaching record ain't crazy like that. He just, like, why Jason Kidd? Why does Jason Kidd get the nod over even considering Mark Jackson?
Right.
I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not trying to pit them against each other because they both black. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's just like, it don't make sense on, like, how can he not get a shot? Like, why is he not in any conversations ever? Like, it just don't make sense to me.
No, it's definitely something that is the biggest conundrum. I talked to Jeff Van Gundy about it, and he said the same thing you said. I wrote about it. You guys can check it out at heavy.com. He basically said in an era where everybody's talking about, you know, Black Lives Matter and equality and just a myriad of other things, that why isn't Mark Jackson's name in the conversation? He shouldn't be an assistant coach. He needs to be a head coach.
Yep.
The Knicks, you talked about Thibodeau. What are the Knicks missing?
Everything. Where do we start?
Where can they get it right?
Star. We don't have no star. You know, I get a lot of love from the Knicks, the organization. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm just talking as a fan. You know what I mean? It just seems like we just can't get out our own way. You know what I'm saying? It's just things, we just have no luck. It's just weird, man. And like, I'm a diehard, you know, not as hard as Spike Lee. You know what I'm saying? I won't say I'm, you know, he's the OG of that. And they kicked him out the arena, which is great. But it's just, we can't get out our own way, man. I don't know, but I'm a die with my Knicks. So I don't know. We need everything. We need a star. I guess we got a coach. You know what I'm saying? Thibodeau's a good coach, but I think that Wes and I think that Leon and, you know, all those guys, I think that they hopefully can bring some pizzazz back to the Garden. But I personally think, you know, if it was me, I would have hired Young, man. Like, I would have hired Young. I would have went, like, I'd have brought in somebody like Chauncey Billups as my general manager. I would have hired Mark Jackson as a coach. Like, I'd have spoke to the culture, like the culture of the Knicks. Like, they got to make the Knicks, like, because to me, when I'm as a free agent, I'm just like, how can you not consider New York? Like, it's New York City. It's so much opportunity. It's something that they're not selling. You know what I'm saying? I think that when you think about the people that have been there in the past that have been in charge of selling the Knicks and selling the opportunity, they just out of touch. They don't even know. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, with the Knicks, like the general manager should be driving around in a Cullinan. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like it's just a vibe. You know, it's New York, bro. It's like this is the greatest place on earth. You know what I'm saying? So you got to bring that energy. Like when the players walk out, I want to see my GM jumping in the back of a Cullinan and going home that night. Like, nigga, we the Knicks, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? This is Broadway. Like this, everything starts here. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that that's the vibe that they just missing the lifestyle, and they gotta like. Every free agent should want to play for the Knicks. Like niggas should be knocking down the door trying to figure out how to put on a Knicks uniform, and they just missing it, man. But I think that I think that West with his relationships, hopefully, and like you said with Leon and with the guys that they got, and I think what's the other guy that they hired for like lifestyle.
Steve Stout.
You know what I'm saying? So hopefully Steve and them could like revive that thing for us and get us back on the right track. Cause like I said, that's New York. And New York's supposed to always be good, man. Like always.
The Denver Nuggets, your former team, showed up and showed out. They didn't win it in the conference finals, but Jamal Murray and company did their thing. What do you make of their appearance in the playoffs?
They got a big three. They got a big three. Murray, Jokic, and that kid Porter. Like Porter. Porter's their edge. He's their toughness. You know what I'm saying? He the one that's willing to say anything. You know what I'm saying? Like you need a guy like that on your team because it gives you like substance. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that he called them out about passing the ball and all that, like you need guys like that. And he got game. And he came out after that next game and had 35 at the same. You know what I'm saying? So I think he is a big three candidate. So I think they tough. You know what I'm saying? They were missing like Will Barton. I think Will Barton would have helped them, obviously with scoring and stuff like that. So I think with that team healthy, I think they gonna be all right. They just gotta, the Nuggets just have to be patient, keep them together, and see what happens. But I think they got a big three.
LeBron and the Lakers did their thing this year. Do they close it out tonight?
I think it's over because JR is my brother, Smith, obviously as you know, and they ready to get out that bubble. You know, they trying to go home tomorrow. You feel me? So I think that they're going to come out there with a sense of urgency. And we'll see, man. I don't think Miami could be blown out, you know what I'm saying, just because they got too much dog in them or whatever, but they definitely overmatched. So it depends on Jimmy because Jimmy's going to have to score 40 again and win the game by himself. And you see, like, that's really not who he is as a player. He's more of a team guy. So I think it's over for him tonight.
Last question. Who reminds you of Al Harrington?
Who reminds me of Al Harrington? One player that sticks out to me is plays for the Knicks, Bobby Portis.
Okay.
Bobby Portis reminds me a lot of myself. Who else? Damn, I had this conversation like a year ago. I'm drawing a blank, but Bobby Portis for sure. Damn. I can't think right now. You got me on the spot, bro.
Hey man, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm doing my job.
Bro, you got to send the questions beforehand so I know it. You know what I'm saying?
See, what had happened was, Al, you're a breath of fresh air. Your product to me stands out. I like to see entrepreneurs like yourself, as well as even Jim Jones, what he's doing with Sauce SX. You both are making headway. And by the way, one person who I think of when you talk about who plays like you, I think Trez is a different version of you, but he doesn't have the fluidity as a small forward and a power forward tandem. That's the difference.
Yeah, Montrez, he more of a motor guy. You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
Remember Kenneth Fareed? I don't know if it's the break.
Yeah, North guy.
They high energy, they undersized, they down bigger than their body is, but they don't really have a lot of skill. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just, and they can't shoot. Like they can't shoot it. But I like Trez. Big fan of Trez. You know what I'm saying? Proud of him winning that 6th Man of the Year award. That's huge for somebody like him, man. And I'm really happy for him, bro.
You stretching and you doing your thing, brother. Thank you. Answer your phone.
Call me.
I will. I will.
All right, bro.
I'll talk to you soon.
Sir, peace.
Later.